Hello everyone, Surveillance TV here. Happy Monday, and what a great Monday it is, because Blizzard just released the first look at hero talents for the War Within, so we have our first War Within news. And luckily enough for us, Death Knight was on the list of things that got released today. So, quick rundown of what are hero talents. They're basically like a talent tree inside of a talent tree, where two of your specs will share them. For the Death Knights, as you can see here on this graph, we have our three specs. Blood and Frost share Deathbringer, Frost and Unholy share Rider of the Apocalypse, and Blood and Unholy share Sandland. And the one that we got information about today was Sandland between Blood and Unholy. And what these trees are is it's basically like it injects a bunch of class flavor as well as obviously gameplay into our class fantasy pretty much in the War Within. Been really looking forward to these, so let's jump right into it. Sandland, I was assuming, was going to be something that's going to help us tankier, rolling around blood and healing, I'm assuming. And it's pretty much everything I hoped it would be. So let's run right through it. We'll go through the middle of the tree first, because there's stuff in that tree that applies to both the left and the right side. So it starts out with Vampiric Strike, which is like the core mechanic of this tree. Our Death Coil and Death Strike have a 10% chance to make your next Heart Strike or Scourge Strike become Vampiric Strike. In a dev interview, they also said that Epidemic should be proccing this as well, so we don't have to be pressing Death Strike and AoE, which is good, or Death Coil and AoE. And so what does Vampiric Strike do? This is a new ability. It heals us for 3% of our maximum health, and it grants us Essence of the Blood Queen, which increases our haste by 1.5%, stacking up to 7.5% for 20 seconds. So that's really cool. We get a Vampire Strike. We're stealing health from our enemies. We're getting 3% life back every time we Scourge Strike, as well as giving us a big stacking haste increase, which gets buffed later on in the tree as well. So already right off the rip, we're jumping right into Vampire healing. Really cool Bloodqueen Lanethel vibes from Wrath of the Lich King, Icecrown Citadel vibes. Honestly, really excited for this. Both as a Blood Death Knight and an Unholy Death Knight, we're going to be even more tanky with this. Coming down into the middle here, we're going to Blood-Soaked Ground. While you're within your Death and Decay, your physical damage taken is reduced by 5%, and your chance to gain Vampiric Strike is increased by 5%. Good and bad. I already know people online are going crazy. They're like, oh god, we have to stand on Death and Decay even more now. What happens when our tank kites out of it? Yada yada yada. All the same problems with Death and Decay. But here it is, it's here to stay, obviously. They may change it. These are all subject to changing, but it's fine. It is what it is. We get 5% more physical DR, and we get more chances to get Vampiric Strikes. As Blood, that's fine. You're the one standing in it anyways. As Unholy, it's just more coordination with your tank to be standing in your Death and Decay. So, again, we're tankier. We're going to get more Vampire Strikes standing in our Death and Decay. That's all there is to it. Frenzied Bloodthirst is next. Essence of the Blood Queen stacks 2 additional times and increases the damage of your Death Coil and Death Strike by 5% per stack. Assuming this is also going to apply to Epidemic for us in Mythic Plus. Cool, we get 2 more stacks. That means what? We get up to 10.5% haste total with this. If we get 1.5 per, we're at 7.5. That goes up to 9. Yeah, so we'll get up to 10.5% haste with Essence of the Blood Queen now. And it just increases the damage of our Death Coil and Death Strike by 5% per stack. So we're getting, what, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks off the rip. So we're going to 7 stacks. 7 times 5, we're getting 35% more damage on our Death Coil, Epidemic, and Death Strike. That's a lot of damage. Epidemic is already one of our biggest damage dealers in Mythic Plus. That's awesome. We're just getting a lot more Epidemic and Death Coil damage there, as well as Death Strikes. So we love that free damage. A lot of these trees, I know a lot of it they're saying should be passive, with a lot of stuff working around the top talent and the bottom talent, like the Capstone and like the main mechanic. So again, this is just increasing the effectiveness of those 2 talents. Next, Incite Terror. Heart Strike and Scourge Strike extend the duration of Essence of the Blood Queen by 0.5 seconds. Vampiric Strike increases the extension by 100%. So a little bit of gameplay revolving around Heart Strike and Scourge Strike some more. It seems like this whole tree is starting to emphasize using Scourge Strike more, which we don't do a lot of in Keys, I guess, or in Raid. So we'll see how this plays out. It seems like the changes are going to warrant, or the changes in the damage will increase from pressing Surge Strike is going to be enough to warrant pressing it more. Obviously, we'll see how the tuning ends up, but it seems like we're going to be scratching Scourge Strike a lot more now. I'm optimistic as always with Death Knights, so I'm assuming they'll make it work and it'll feel okay. But it seems like we're heading in a direction where we're going to be pressing Scourge Strike a lot more. This is going to be increasing the duration of our more haste from Essence of the Blood Queen. Down into the Capstone, Gift of the Sandland, Blood Queen Lanathel shout out. It's passive. While Vampiric Blood or Dark Transformation is active, you gain Gift of the Sandland. Gift of the Sandland increases the effectiveness of your Essence of the Blood Queen by 100% and replaces your Scourge Strike or Heart Strike with Vampiric Strike for the duration. So during Dark Transformation, or if you're Blood Vampiric Blood, so pretty much during our main cooldown is Unholy, we're doing a lot of Vampiric Strikes. We're going to be so healthy during Dark Transformation because every single strike is going to be Vampiric Strike. And it increases the effectiveness of our haste. So what we already are gaining 10.5% haste. This increases by 100%. So we're going to be gaining 21% haste during Dark Transformation if you have full stacks. So if we press DT, slam a bunch of Scourge Strikes, we'll have 20% haste off the rip. That's a lot of haste. That's a lot of haste. And it also gives us the Vampiric Strikes, like I said. So we're going to be full HP the entire time. What's 3%? Okay, that doesn't stack. We do just gain 3% of our maximum health back every Vampire Strike, but still, that's a lot of health. Really cool. We're a vampire. We're just stealing everybody's health. This is so cool. We just got the first one right now, and it is already so cool. All right, let's move over down the left side, I guess, now, since we know what the middle is. So let's move down the left. So this is our first choice node. There's 3 sets of choice nodes in this tree. The first one here is between newly turned and vampiric speed. So for newly turned, raise ally revives players at full health and grants you an absorb shield equal to 20% of your maximum HP. Cool, that's great. I think raise ally is, let me look, 60% right now. So instead they get full HP, and we get a huge absorb shield. Again, leaning into the tankiness and endurance side of Death Knights here with this tree between Blood and Unholy. Love it. Never dying. 100% HP. I mean, right now we have almost 1 million HP, so that's 200k HP shield in current retail. Who knows what it'll be in War Within, but that's a lot of health. Very cool. And then the other one, Vampiric Speed, equally as cool choice node, just completely different. Death's Advance and Wraithwalk movement speed bonuses are increased by 10%, and activating Death's Advance or Wraithwalk increases 4 nearby allies' movement speed by 20% for 5 seconds. So we kind of get our own little stampeding roar. Cool. We get to move faster. We're really slow, so we take these any day. Anytime we can get movement speed increases, we take those. I guess some people are already like, oh, it's like a raid buff, but not really. There's a little bit of raid buff on the other side too with the choice node. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, both of those, both equally powerful. I like them both. Next, Infliction of Sorrow. When Vampiric Strike damages an enemy affected by Blood Plague or Virulent Plague, it consumes the disease, dealing 200% of the remaining damage. And while Gift of the Sandland is active, Vampiric Strike no longer consumes your disease and instead extends the duration of your disease by 3 seconds and deals 20% of the remaining damage to the enemy. I mean, I just thought of something off the rip that sounded really cool. But when Vampiric Strike damages an enemy affected by your plagues, it consumes them, dealing 2% of the damage. So you're basically just, if you outbreak something and hit it immediately with your Vampiric Strike, it's a nuke. That's a lot of damage. Imagine, just theorycraft for a minute with me. Imagine you run into a pack, you pressed Unholy Blight, you pressed Defile. Your Unholy Blight every second is applying Virulent Plague. So if you run in with your Unholy Blight and you just hit 4 Scourge Strikes in a row, or sorry, in this case, Vampiric Strikes in a row. I guess that's assuming you get procs. So maybe not, but that would be really cool. If you hit 4 Vampiric Strikes in a row and you just nuked your plagues the second they were up from your Unholy Blight. I guess in practice that wouldn't work because you're not going to have 4 Vampiric Strike procs in a row. But that would be really cool. Because during DT it says, well, during Gift of the Sandland, which is during Dark Transformation, you always have Vampiric Strikes. But instead, now they extend the duration. Instead of the full nuke, it does 20% of the remaining damage. So still off the rip, you're going to be hitting really big Scourge Strikes that are nuking your diseases onto everyone in Defile. We're going to be doing a lot of damage in our Dark Transformation and our Unholy Blight windows now, I think. That's going to be really, really cool. I like that one right there a lot. Next, to Restore Regeneration, your Heartstrike and Scourge Strike have a 3% stack of Essence of the Blood Queen to refund a rune. Vampiric Strike doubles the chance to refund a rune. Just Resource Regeneration. Kind of all there is to say there. We just get pretty good chance to refund runes all the time. A 3% chance per stack. We get 7 stacks. So we get 21% chance to get a rune. Oh, which is doubled though during Gift of the Sandlane. So what, we have a 42% chance to get a rune during Gift if we have full stacks? We're gonna have a lot of runes. That's really cool. I'm loving this tree. This is really awesome. Alright, next choice note on the right side, Vampiric Aura or Bloody Fortitude. Vampiric Aura, your leech is increased by 3%, while Lichborn is active, the leech amount is increased by 100%. Next 4 nearby allies. Cool. So we're basically getting into the little raid buff right there, is what that means. Kind of like a mini raid buff for our party. For Mythic Plus, that's cool, because that just gives everybody leech during Lichborn. Everybody's getting a lot of leech and health during Lichborn, which is cool. It's a mini defensive for your group, honestly, which is pretty cool. The second one, Bloody Fortitude. Icebound Fortitude reduces all damage you take by up to an additional 30% based on your missing health. Killing an enemy that grants honor experience reduces the cooldown of Icebound Fortitude by 3 seconds. That sounds busted in random battlegrounds, honestly. Icebound's going to be coming off cooldown all the time in PvP. That might be what that geared toward a little bit, or just world content in general. You'll have Icebound up a lot more. But also, Icebound just becomes even more of a wall when you're low HP. Could be effective. We'll see. I kind of like the leech one more, that one, honestly. Next, this is the really cool part down here. The Blood is Life. Vampiric Strike has a chance to summon a Blood Beast to attack your enemy for 10 seconds. Each time the Blood Beast attacks, it stores a portion of the damage dealt, and when the Blood Beast dies, it explodes, dealing 50% of the damage accumulated to nearby enemies and healing the Death Knight for the same amount. So we just get a little beast. I wonder what this is going to look like. This could look really cool. I'm really excited to see what it looks like in-game. But we just get a little beast that blows up and heals us and deals AoE damage. That's going to be a really big hit after 10 seconds. That's pretty cool. I wonder if there could be a way to trigger it early. Like if you're low and you need health, I wonder if there's a way you could trigger it to just heal you in that second as either blood or unholy. That would be a cool thing to add. I doubt they will. That would be pretty cool. The choice note going along with this guy, or that affects it a little bit. Sanguine Scent, your Death Coil, and Death Strike, assumingly Epidemic as well. 15% chance to trigger Vampiric Strike when damaging enemies below 30% health, 35% health, and is guaranteed to critically strike. Awesome. That's just an execute. Guaranteed crit is cool too for Vamp Strike. Yeah, we just like executes there. That's cool. Nice. And then Pact of the Sandland, you store 50% of all shadow damage dealt into your Blood Beast to explode for additional damage when it expires. This definitely feels like you'll take Sanguine Scent in Raid and Pact and Mythic Plus, but we'll see. But that's really cool. Our Blood Beast is even more of a nuke now. Big giant explosion at the end of those 10 seconds. It's going to do a lot of damage to Fortify Pact, I'm telling you right now. And then we end up right back at the bottom, Gift of the Sandland. So yeah, initial thoughts. This is wicked cool. I'm really excited for this. This is the Blood and Unholy one, like I said. We'll be seeing the Frost Unholy, Blood Frost later on. And if they're anything like this one, it's gonna be an awesome expansion. I'm really, really excited for these. This first look is so cool. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.